Kamdar was founded in 1972 as Textile Furnishing and Garment Department Store in Malaysia. Their vision is to be first choice of customer, best quality and easily available product at minimum cost. The mission is to achieve a retail market leadership in fashion, fabric and home decoration. Kamdar Group has always strictly observed the principle of honesty, impartial and fairness with legal and moral standard. They use an autocratic leadership because they are applying the power culture in their company.
Financial ratio analysis. There are 5 types of financial ratio analysis. Number 1 is liquidity ratio. Liquidity ratio can be measured by current ratio and quick ratio. So for the current ratio, the company show a good ratio performance. Although there is a decrease in 2020, the company still managed to fulfill the obligation with the available current asset. Next is quick ratio. Based on the table, we can see that the company had the highest quick ratio performance on 2018. Therefore, it shows that the company had the most effectiveness to pay its short-term obligation without relying on the inventory on 2018. Number 2 is activity ratio. Activity ratio are used by the company in order to determine their efficiency. There are 5 types of ratio in activity ratio. Number 1 is inventory turnover. We can see that the company inventory turnover decreased from 2018 to 2020. Although it decreased, it still shows a good ratio performance because the value is not a negative value. Therefore, it shows that the company had the most effectiveness of inventory to generate sales in 2018.
Average correction period. Kamdar's SEP for all 3 years consecutive show good ratio performance. This is because the company's SEP is decreasing year by year. Shows that the company has no problem in collecting debt. For total assets turnover, Kamdar's total assets turnover ratio for all 3 years consecutive show good ratio performance. The company had the highest total assets turnover ratio performance in 2018. The company had the most effective of total assets to generate sales in 2018. Although facing decreasing from 2018 until 2020, it still shows a good performance because it is not a negative value. For account receivable turnover, Kamdar's ARTO ratio for all 3 years consecutive show good ratio performance. This is because the company's ARTO was increasing from 2018 to 2020. The company had the highest turnover performance in 2020. The company had the most effectiveness of collecting receivable in 2020. For fixed assets turnover, Kamdar's FATO ratio for all 3 years consecutive show good ratio performance. The company had the highest inventory turnover ratio performance on 2018. The company had the most effectiveness of using fixed assets to generate sales in 2018. Although facing decreasing from 2018 to 2020, it still show a performance at its value were positive. Thank you.
Leverage ratio consists debt ratio, debt to equity ratio and TIE, time interest earned. Kamdar debt ratio for all 3 years consecutive show good ratio performance. It shows that the company has more asset than debt as the percentage is less 100%. It is shown that there was decrease from 2018 to 2019. However, there was an increase of debt ratio from 2019 to 2020, indicates that the risk is gradually increased. Next is debt equity ratio. The highest debt to equity ratio was recorded in year 2020 and the lowest debt to equity ratio was in 2019. It is indicate that the company debt is increased from 2019 to 2020. However, it showed that the debt to equity ratio decreased from 2018 to 2019. Hence, Kamdar Group need to take necessary action to overcome the increase in 2020. And the last one is TIE, which is time interest earned. TIE, or as known as time interest earned, is a financial ratio that measures a company capacity to service its debt. The time interest earned can be calculated by this formula: earning before interest and taxes (EBIT) divided by the total interest payable on bond and other debt. There is no time interest earned TIE for Kamdar Group's Berhad, since there is no interest provided in the financial statement of Kamdar Group Berhad. That's all.
Profitability ratio is the analysis and evaluation of a company's capacity to generate income and is commonly done by analysts and investors. Gross profit margin is the percentage of sales and it demonstrates how successful that company is at generating revenue. The GPM has increases from 2018 to 2019 and then it decreases by 5.3% in 2020 because the total revenue has also decreases. and the highest GPM is 4.15 in 2019. Operating profit margin shows the ability of an organization to make profit. The decline in operating profit margin from 6.45 to 1.58 is a result of the company's operating leverage. This shows that the company lacks skills on managing inventory.
Furthermore, net profit margin table shows the 3 years has improved successfully by 2.3% from the year 2018 to 2020. It shows that Kamdar Group Berhad has successfully managed its production costs and are able to offer good end service of the cost that was much greater than the production cost. Based on the table of return on asset, Kamdar Group Berhad hit the highest return on asset in 2018 with the 9.24 and slightly declined 2019 by 2.49%, in 2020 1.88%. It shows that the company has over-invested in assets that have not created revenue growth. Last but not least, the highest return on equity obtained by the Kamdar Group Berhad was in 2018 with the 1.39, then the return of equity has slightly declined 2019 and 2020 with the 1.00 and 1.40 respectively. This happened since the company has become less effective at generating the profit, thus making the company lose their investor.
Market ratio is used to evaluate the current share price of publicly traded company stock. It is also used by both present and prospective investors to assess the fair value of company shares. There are 5 types of ratio that we calculate in order to examine and compare the estimation value we should or should not invest in Kamdar Group. After we carefully analyze the Kamdar financial performance, we agree that we should not invest in Kamdar. It is more likely for us to have a loss compared to a profit by investing in this company. There are a lot of ways the Kamdar Group can do in order to improve their financial performance. Few steps can be taken depending on what ratio they want to improve.